Boys, welcome back. We're here again with Cam's Boosted Starlet. In the last episode, we had the TD05 removed, and we've gone ahead and put this G3770 Pulsar Turbo on Nick's car. A lot of people are saying it's too big. A lot of people are saying I'm going to need nitrous. We don't really know. We've never done anything like this before, so this is going to be a great experiment to see actually when it's going to come on boost, so hang tight for that. The last episode we were talking, we had some problems. I was really happy with the manifold design and how everything worked out and how that's sitting there. But I didn't take into account where the wastegate was sitting and where the radiator was going to sit. So now we've got a problem. We can't get the dump pipe to go sort of through here anywhere. Of course, we want to get it underneath the car so we run a full exhaust. So what I've decided to do with that is we need to modify this top radiator hose. So first of all, we've got to pull off the thermostat housing. And once we pull the thermostat housing off, we're going to have to chop one of the ends off, clean that up really nice, and I've got a aluminium elbow here. We can weld that on, and then we can put the original end of the thermostat housing back on there, weld it all on. So now when we put the housing back on, that's going to give us a little bit more room there to make the dump pipe go past. If we look at this thermostat housing, there's a lot of crap and crud on here and a lot of unnecessary things. So sitting this on here, we're not running a heater anymore in the car, so I think we should pull it out and delete it. If we remove that, it's also going to remove this tiny little 1/4 inch line here as well. This is the factory sensor that goes to the dash. We've got this little vacuum thing here. We'll remove that and we can put a bit of aluminium in there and weld that up nicely. Give the housing a bit of a clean up and a paint up, and then that'll be good to go back on the car again. So now we end up with this. Simplifies things a lot. We go ahead and put that on. Something like that. Goes on there, something like that. I've decided I'm going to weld that little aluminium bit on there just so it gives us a little bit more clearance when we're doing the dump pipe. And that's really nice. Now, here we've got the factory lower radiator hose. So I'll pull this off just so we can see. If we sit this on, I mean, this is a Honda Civic radiator that just off eBay, they're about $100. You can see the bottom outlet there is, if we're looking at the front of the car, the bottom outlet there comes out right near the gearbox. And if we look at where the factory orientation is of the hose, wouldn't that be a lot nicer sitting like that compared to having the hose bent around into there? So I think the next step now is we need to pull the radiator out and we need to chop off that bottom outlet and weld it over there in the center, and then that should give us a much more comfortable route of where those hoses need to go. So now that we've got the top and bottom hoses sorted, it's time to sort out the dump pipe. Now with this Pulsar Turbo, it did come with a nice rear housing flange and a V-band clamp, so that's a good starting point. I've got a whole heap of stainless pipe here left over from previous builds. You can reuse some of those, weld the pipe back together, and then we end up with this. Now I really wasn't happy with the weld that I did to join these two bits of pipe together. I haven't welded stainless steel in a long time, and really I've got no idea what I'm doing. I spoke to my friend Ryan, who's a gun welder, and explained to him that inside here looks terrible. And that's when he said to me, I should have been back purging, which means you have this capped off and you have the welding gas going inside this. And what it does is, when you're welding on the outside here and the weld's penetrating through the inside, it doesn't I guess oxidize, or it's not affected by the oxygen that's inside the pipe here. So having that purge keeps the metal protected and it'll give you a nice weld on the inside there. So now that that's been explained to me, Ryan said there is a little trick that we can do. If we turn the amps right down on the welder, and when we're welding we don't penetrate through into the inside of the pipe there, he said you won't get that. And what happens is, when the oxygen's affecting that, it comes through and makes the outside of the weld here look disgusting. So he said to me, if we turn the amps right down, we should be able to run a bead on here and actually weld up the V-band properly without having that. Problem is, it's not going to be as strong, but I mean, I don't have any really credibility with welding and stuff like that. So the only way we're going to find out if this is good enough or not is I'm just going to try it. If it cracks in the future, hey, we'll try things a bit differently, but for now, learn how to do it and go from there. All right, so we got the new dump pipe on. There's quite a bit of room there in between the dump pipe and that radiator outlet, and also in between the fan as well. You may be thinking it's a little bit close to the radiator fan or close to the slave cylinder down there. I've never actually had any problems with anything melting or any of the sort in the past. I mean, the manifold we had on Nick's car before was very, very compact and had no problems at all. I mean, the rehousing on Nick's old turbo was within 10 millimeters of a plastic core radiator, and we had no problems with it whatsoever. I'm not recommending you guys do this, but we're happy just to test the limits and see, is this going to cause a radiator fan to melt, or is it going to cause a radiator hose to melt? We don't know. We're just going to give it a go. Nick's car is the test dummy, and we muck around with everything on there, so we're going to just try that and see what happens. But otherwise, she's looking really good. She's turning out really nice. We've got a lot of stainless steel pipe left over that we can do the exhaust that goes under the car. I really don't know if we're going to do 3-inch stainless all the way to the back. Maybe we'll just do a nice V-band underneath that rear engine mount, and then continue the rest of the exhaust just in mild steel. I don't know. I've never had to buy a stainless exhaust muffler, so I don't know how much they are. We'll wait and see. We'll get that done first. The oil lines and stuff should be here tomorrow. We can then get the car fired up, started, and really go from there. And I need to get a bit of 4-inch pipe from somewhere so we can run an air filter off the front of this turbo and have an air filter sitting in here somewhere. So we have everything. We're close. A few more hours, a bit more work. We're going to get it all done, and we're really excited to see what power this is going to make on the dyno. I reckon it's going to crack the 400 mark. We had lots of guesses from the previous video from subscribers and people watching the videos. So thanks guys for getting involved. It really does mean a lot. As usual guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to power ahead now and get a bit more of this done. We've got a storm coming in now, so it's about to piss down. Anyway, take care. We will talk to you guys soon. See ya.